0.900. There. So now it's this one. .903. Yep, it's 3,000 difference between these two. This is the Honda Accord, and then this is the Prelude. It's M2S4, and then this is for the Accord. The inside flange are lower than this one from the outside. I'm not, you guys can see it, but you can see a gap right there. Plus, if I can teeter this one, see. This one is the same thing. The inside flange is lower. See it rock back and forth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this gear, put it on top, and you know it's sitting flat because it wobbles. I'm gonna start with the Accord. I did that backwards. I wanna do it so you guys can see it. .948. Now for the M2S4, same thing. .948. Okay. The fifth gear, which is I'm gonna change this with the Accord one. All right. Bam. That. Now the bearings. Okay, this one, you can pull this out, one of them, and it goes from the top. Okay. Right, and then the last one is this one, and the groove facing up because the lock will go on here. Remember the lock from the housing? All right, and then the washer, tab washer. This is more like a spring washer. It goes up or concave on one side, and it should be installed just like on picture. And now the nut. So I'm gonna torque it to 94. There you go. That's good enough for me. Okay. So last thing to do is to bend the tabs. Okay. Put some oil in here. And differential first. Make sure nothing there. This is a bit heavy. Okay. So now, needle bearings. Then the third gear. Synchro. Then the hub. And line up my synchro. Bring down the hub farther down. And the hub. Then I have to line this up. The master. Like that. Okay, make sure I got the spring. Okay. So next will be another synchro with a spring. Give it up. Then the fourth gear. Okay, make sure I get the spring on there. Yeah. Okay. Needle bearing. Collar, spacer, collar or spacer. So another needle bearings, and then this is the this is the fifth gear that I was telling you guys about. Okay, this is the Honda Accord. Oh, I got rid of the M2S4. But let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. So M2S4 is a little bit smaller. You can see the size. Okay. So this is the Accord. Synchro. Then the hub. Okay, the hub it goes a certain way. Yeah. Let's line it up. Then the collar. Like that. And the synchro with the spring, needle bearing, and the sleeve. One side's got a groove on there, but they both have chamfered. And according to the picture, this one, the fifth synchro, the bottom's got the groove on there. So it's the one on the groove goes to the bottom. Again, there's a you can only go in a certain way. I got this key right here, so I'm gonna line that up. These two. Let me put this first. I got that thing mixed up. Okay. Right. Line this up. Okay. Now this one, the keyway, the stab will be facing at the bottom. You have to line up with the housing a certain way. Okay. And now the bearing. Like that. Now we're gonna pull it out and then put the forks on there. I'm gonna leave the shim and the washer over here. Now we're gonna match these two and put the forks. Okay, now I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna line it up. And hoping I won't disturb the orientation of the bearing. Cool. And that's it. Alright, so next will be the installation of the reverse gear right here. And I'm good to go. I don't have any more spare parts laying around, so that's a good thing. Let me show you where that thing is gonna go. This tab right here. Let me see if I can get that. For those of you guys that are new on assembling a transmission, this tab right here is lug by the file. It has two lined up with this tab right there. So the only thing left is grab the housing. Put some silicone, a little bit of a silicone bead on the flange, and I'm gonna line up the reverse idler gear. Okay, got everything all buttoned up, and now I need to put this bad boy. And secure it with some bolt. And the torque on this is 11 pounds a foot. Take this real quick. Okay. And let me do a quick inspection before I cover it up with the housing. I got the magnet there, all cleaned up. I got the sealant already applied on there, and my made up shim, that's what I'm gonna use. I know I said that I'm gonna put it again, try to bring it in tolerance, but if I only have a machine, like a lathe machine, then I don't mind doing it myself. I just want to make it, you know, a little bit prettier than that one, because that one is not really, it's quite off round, but it'll do a job. I went to that metal place, and this is what she gave me. I need to come up with a CAD drawing and all of this information on there. And I think it's gonna cost me more than well, it's not a penny. That's just for the CAD drawing. I have to pay for the CAD drawing, go to a sign shop and have it done, and then bring it to them. Then who knows how much they're gonna charge me. It's probably not much, but it will do. I'm fine with it. So anyway, the purpose of this video is to show you that what I have here is a Prelude transmission, which is a M2S4 right there. It came off from, well, you could find this on from 92 all the way to 96. The SI, the non-VTEC H23A1 motor. And what I'm swapping, why am I swapping the gears for? It's on using it on the freeway. Well, I would like cruising speed, let's say 65 or 70 miles an hour, and the RPM, it only stays up to 3,000, below 3,000. Rather than if I still have the OEM original gear on there, the fifth gear, that engine will already be screaming. It will be like a 3.5 or something. So at 80 miles an hour, it's definitely, you'll have a screaming motor at 4,000 RPM. So it's better to have a fifth gear like an Honda Accord on your Prelude transmission. I mean, for my opinion, is in my standing point. On how you use it, it depends. It all depends on you. How I came out with this, I used to have, well, the first time I had a H22 swap, I was using my Honda Accord transmission. I thought it was I thought it was bad, but not until I came up, well, with this this is my M2B4 transmission, the shortest gear that I have in my possession. This one. And I was constantly running out of gears every time I go to Mexico. So when I downshift from fifth gear to third gear, that motor is already screaming. And I have the acceleration you know, I got the edge. But I want better. I was looking for the RPM and the long gears also, and that's how I found this M2S4. So when I downshift from 5th to 3rd gear, my RPM is right above, just above 3,000 RPM compared to the short gear, which is you're already like at 4,000 RPM. That thing is already screaming. And then if you add turbo on it, man, you'll be running out of gears. So that's how I chose this transmission. So my recommendation to anyone that wanted to use this transmission is balance your options if this is really what you wanted. It varies on some people's application, which is on mine. I found it on this transmission. This is, I'm not saying get this one, but find the one that's suitable for you. Yeah, that's my take on this one. And as far as the gear, I counted the teeth on this one. I'm using this as the Honda Accord. I'm not sure. I don't want to say exactly the year because I can't remember now. So what I did is I counted the gears on the this is the counter shaft gears. This is 24 and the big one is 35. So if you divide the two, it'll come out with 0.685 or 87, I believe, which is the Honda Accord P2U5 or something. But if you go through the internet and Google search the FNH tranny gear ratio, just find the year or look up this 0.685, and then that will give you the exact transmission code. And like I have shown you, well, I'm gonna show you guys as far as like the measurement. I did that at work just to use a much precise tooling to do the measurement. And the counter shaft, it comes out to about 3,000 more than the M2S4, the original gear, the 5th gear. But like I said, I'm not worried about it. This one is the one that perfectly it matches as far as like the height. So you could do the same thing on some other transmission, but it's either you have a shim that you have to make one, you know, like a little spacer. It's either bring it up to come up with the right height. But I'm not gonna go through that. I just wanna show you guys what I have here. There is a drawback on this one. If this thing is if I ever successfully put it on Miley and get it running, I will show you the drivability as far as like the RPM and everything. But I'm gonna tell you right away from the get-go, from the start, there is a drawback on using Honda Accord 5th gear on an M2S4. You are constantly, well, I'm constantly shifting from 5th to 4th, 4th to 5th, vice versa. It's just going on and up, on and off. It's kind of annoying at the beginning, but I got used to it, so now I'm okay with it. What I meant was, because my normal driving is like every 3,000 RPM, you know, I either upshift. So let's say you're driving like at 50 miles an hour, then you need to upshift to 5th gear. Then my RPM would go to about 2,000, and then I'll be cruising. Now my RPM will go down to below 2,000. So now I needed to downshift to 4th. So that area right there, that was the gray area. I just constantly shifting back and forth. So if you are driving on the streets, a lot of driving on the street surface, in the beginning you will get annoyed. You just constantly shifting or downshifting or upshifting. Yeah, that's a drawback. But on the freeway, you'll love it on the freeway. It's just, I think I have a clips of it. I have a video on our way to San Diego. The old school Honda. I have shown that as far as like the cruising speed. Yeah, I have a video clips of it. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and slap this bad boy on. But I think that's just about it, what I could say as far as like the fifth gear. Just one more thing. Disclaimer. Use this as a guide. It's all up to you. Whatever, if anything happens on your transmission, don't blame me. Okay? So do your research and everything. But in my own experience, I've been running a fifth gear from a Honda Accord on a M2S4. Okay? Only on the M2S4, because I found that the height thickness of the fifth gear are pretty much like the same thing. I'm right on. Okay? Alright, I'm gonna slap this bad boy, and hopefully next stop will be here.